like I said, he's just so good, man. He just could flip on a dime. And when you see it, because it was so crazy, because it's like, you have to think of that first and then you see it done. You know, he saw it done. He used to tell me that even when like we shoot basketball, he never missed. And I would ask him like, dude, how do you do that? How do you just shoot? And it's like Pleasantville. You just throw it at the goal and it just goes in. And he said, you know what I do, Morris? He said, everything I do, I see it finished in my head first. So when I write a song, it's already in there. All I'm doing is when I play it, I'm executing what's already in my head. Like he played me this song called Crystal Ball when I first got in the band. Mm-hmm. And I heard this piece, man. It's just me and him in Studio B, and he's playing this track. And it's like 12 or 13 minutes, man. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. It's like an opus. Like, what is this? And I said, who's playing drums? He said, I did. I'm like, who played bass? He said, I did. I'm like, but it's like 10 minutes long, and the music is moving, the tempo changes, everything is changing. Only thing he didn't play was like what Claire Fisher stuff he arranged. And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, how do you? It's 10. So okay. So I'm saying, so you started. You just played 10 minutes of drum, to 15 minutes worth of drums. Just pow, ping, pow, and then I'm gonna change the beat up, and then I'm gonna. I like, that's so random. How can you do that? And he says, I see it done in my head. So all I'm doing now is executing. So I did the drums, knowing where the changes are going to come up at. So when I play the bass, I already know when the drums change, I'm doing this on the bass. Now I'm going to go back and do the keys. Now I'm going to go back and do my guitar. And he knows where everything lays out in the course of 15 minutes. That's like Mozart. That's like crazy. Which, by the way, was one of his favorite movies, was Amadeus. And there was a scene in there where when Amadeus was walking in, and they had already composed this little piece that the king was playing, and as he was walking in, you know, they were playing this piece, and they asked him. He said, "Yeah." He said, "What do you think about the piece?" He said, "It was nice." And he said, "Would you mind playing it?" And he said, "Yeah, I already memorized it. I already got it." And it's like, "But you just heard it, just with two. You just heard a little bit." He said, "Yeah." And he went in, and he just played it. He said, "I think it kind of went a little like this. This is what I think you meant." And that was Prince's favorite scene, because that was what he would do. He said, "This is what I think you meant," and then just kill it. You know, and I was like, okay, I completely get Amadeus now. I completely get why that's his favorite movie, because he basically was seeing himself. That's what he saw, I think, in Mozart, is that he could do the same thing. And I was just like, how? This is crazy. And he said, yeah, because he said, when I shoot a basket, when I do anything I do, I see it done first, and then I execute it. So it's like, it's not like, it's just like execution at that point. So when he gets on the stage, man, this dude can kill, because he already sees a searing solo. It's done in his head. He already seen it. That's why even when he made a mistake, he could repeat it. And then it was like, it wasn't a mistake, because that's his biggest piece of advice for me, and I still struggle with it, was, it ain't a mistake until you stop, Morris. It's not a mistake until you stop. You know? And I tell musicians that all the time now. Don't, you know, when people notice there's something going wrong, is when you're looking at your instrument, or you're looking at something and they go, oh, look, the keyboard player's having a problem. Look, he's got something going wrong over there. He's looking at his equipment. I had a keyboard melt down on me one night, and it was one of the old Oberheims that he used to love, because he did all those records with it. But it was just a hard piece, because they didn't make parts, and it just was really hinky. But he liked the sound of it, and I took this thing, and it just died, and it just made a death sound, like, and I'm just like, it just did it on its own. I wasn't touching it or anything. I just was playing my parts, and all of a sudden it decided, I'm gonna die now. And it made this hideous death noise. And I looked at it like, what the hell? And Prince just looked back at me, and he threw a towel at me. He had a towel, and he just threw it at me on the stage. And I got, you know, after the show was over, he's like, Morris, what happened? I'm like, well, the keyboard, it just died. It just, like, it was just over there, and it just decided now is the time to die. And it just made a sound. And I ended up pulling the fader down on the mixer just so it would stop. And he said, Morris, whenever that happens, throw it on the ground, break it. At least it's a part of the show now. If you stand there and look at it like a deer in the headlights, and people are going like, you're a distraction now. And it's like, he's in trouble. He said, but if you take it and throw it on the ground, now it's a show. And I'll get you a new one. I'll get you another one. But don't wreck the show. like looking like what's happening, and it's like now you're distracting. Now you're taking all the eyes have gone over to you and your problem. He said, make it a show. Throw it on the ground, set it on fire, stomp on it, bust it up, and I'll get you a new one. Because now it's showbiz, it's rock and roll. And I was like, oh man, you know, next time anything like that happens, I'll be like, I'm gonna throw it on the ground and blow it up, and then it's like now you'll be on the YouTube doing a rock and roll moment. You broke your instrument like Pete Townsend. See how Pete broke up a gang of guitars. Look good too, you know. So it's like rock and roll at that point. It's not a mistake. So you stop and look at it, and now you're like in trouble, you know. So that was just brilliant advice, man. And I tell all the musicians, like, maybe you can't afford to just bust your keyboard up, but the bottom line is the principle is just always keep it moving. Keep it. It ain't a mistake until you stop.